The Love Affair event is on at Whole Foods Market with deals on delicious desires through February 14th. The floral department's in full bloom, so look for savings on double dozen bunches of roses. In the meat and seafood departments, save on animal welfare certified New York strip steaks and sustainable wild-caught lobster tails to make the night sizzle. Gifts from the wellness and beauty department are always a nice touch. And you have to grab those chocolate-dipped strawberries. Make Whole Foods Market your Valentine's Day destination.
The best gift to give for Valentine's Day is chocolate, in my opinion, which is, of course, the correct opinion. Luckily, we've got an incredible artisanal chocolatier right here in Henderson, Ethel M. Today on CityCast Las Vegas, we're talking with Mark Mackey. He's the chief chocolatier and the Willy Wonka of our beloved local chocolate emporium, Ethel M. He's giving us all the insider deets on what it takes to get from bean to bar to heart-shaped box. It's Thursday, February 8th. I'm Sarah Lohman, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. Okay, Mark, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Absolutely. Really excited to be here.
Okay, so in addition to being chief chocolatier, you're also chief product developer. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And it's, the most fun part of my job is having the opportunity to create and craft all sorts of different chocolate products, beverages, combining flavors with delicious beverages, alcohol, non-alcohol. We do it all out here.
You're pretty famous for your boozy treats, but that's definitely not all you have. I mean, I think one of my favorite pieces is actually the pecan brittle. It's very delicious, decadent, crunchy. I mean, as the product developer, what are some things that you're really excited about that you've worked on?
Oh boy. So it's hard. So it's just it's hard to name your favorite child.
Can the chocolates hear us right now? Or, you don't want to make one feel bad?
I am. Yeah, they are just being made not too far behind us. So maybe we should be a little bit more quiet.
Yeah,
but...
so no one gets their feelings hurt. Yeah.
So I like, different pieces and different things for a lot of different reasons. Most recently, I think the piece that I was the most excited about was one that was a little bit more different than maybe a traditional chocolate. So, you mentioned the pecan brittle as being one of your favorite pieces.
Classic chocolate.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Chocolate, pecans, toffee, or caramel. So we also have a pecan caramel rapture, we called it. It's somewhat similar to a traditional turtle. So I created a new variant of that piece with actually taking the caramel and we spiced it up with some guajillo and chipotle chili.
Wow.
So if you think about exactly, yeah. If you think about that sweet and salty combination that so many people love, obviously texture, the crunch of the pecans is really important to provide some complexity. But now you add a spice element. So you've got all this happening in your mouth at the same time. Yeah, it's a wonderful experience and one of the pieces I've been most proud of over the last year.
Oh, that's so cool. Do you have one more that you'd like to shout out?
Absolutely. So early last year, I created a Bananas Foster piece. So it's actually was a dual layered truffle. So you have a white chocolate banana ganache that is on top of a creamy caramel. So you really get that Bananas Foster experience. The banana puree and ganache melts first, then the caramel kind of comes in and provides that really nice, sweet caramelized sugar note. And the whole piece is enrobed in our fabulous creamy milk chocolate.
Are you considering, R&Ding any new pieces that might have local ingredients or flavors?
Absolutely. There are a number of craft distillers and brewers here in Las Vegas. And, over the last few years, we've worked with a number of, different beers, different wines, different distilled spirits to create different limited edition pieces.
That's cool.
And we'll look to do that in the future. Being that it is Las Vegas in the desert, is a limited amount of product that grows here, but just over the mountains in California, we have the breadbasket of America. We also have local Mojave Desert honey that we use in our
cool.
dark chocolate honey truffle. Yeah, so you get a little bit of that desert flavor in a few different pieces that we offer.
Well, my vote is always for mesquite. I love mesquite as a local ingredient and flavor. So I just a little, maybe for me, throw something together. It's just such a fascinating taste. Have you ever had it?
I have, yeah. I actually, so in a previous life, I had worked on a number of savory chocolate products,
Wow.
chocolate barbecue sauce, chocolate cocoa rubs, ingredients, and we did utilize a mesquite smoked cocoa powder in our cocoa rub that was fabulous. So you never know. It's not, I would say, maybe not a traditional ingredient in chocolate, but I always love incorporating things that are new and different, and so I think that could absolutely be something that we look at in the near future.
Just put my vote in for it. So can you give us some of the backstory of Ethel M's? Like who is Ethel?
Sure. So Ethel M Chocolates, so it's interesting. A lot of folks, when they come to visit us, they always ask us what the M stands for. And the M stands for Mars. So Ethel M was founded back in 1981 by Forrest Mars Sr., and that was after he had retired from the M&M Mars candy company that he built with his father, Frank Mars. So he moved to Vegas. In the Mars family, it was felt that, you weren't really in the chocolate making business or the chocolate business unless you had a premium boxed chocolate. So Forrest moved to Las Vegas. Yeah, he moved out here to do just that, to really create a premium boxed chocolate company.
Do you know, Mark, why he chose Las Vegas? From where was Mars based?
So at the time, I believe they were in Chicago and on the East Coast. So Nevada had a very unique legal situation going on with the casinos on the Strip. And the state of Nevada, allowed for the addition of alcohol into chocolate confections. A lot of other states at the time did not allow for that. So he saw a very unique business opportunity to partner with local casinos on the Strip, for turn down service, and actually had developed those liqueurs initially as a unique product offering to cater to the hospitality, the business that was being attracted here in Las Vegas.
So he came here because he wanted to make boozy chocolates, and Nevada would let him make boozy chocolates, and then he could use the casinos as his business partners, so he could sell the casinos.
And even today, with all of the local traffic coming through, there are always new folks that have never had our chocolate. And working with those casinos, gives you an opportunity to be exposed to, more clientele every year.
Right, from across the country. I was kind of curious, why a big company like Mars would invest in sort of these more high-end brands, like you said, like a boxed chocolate company. So it was a little bit of an expectation, to be a good chocolate maker, you have to have this within the family?
I think so. And I think it was a bit of his retirement project. I've met several of the Mars family members, and they don't stop ever. So even though they're retired, they want to work on the next thing. And so I think Forrest moved out here to start something new, start something fresh, something that was a little bit different than what the rest of the company was doing in Las Vegas. So you can think it's a very peculiar place maybe to start a chocolate company where it gets to above 110 degrees in the summertime.
Is that challenging at all?
Well, it can be. So there's trade-offs as there are with everything. One of the advantages I would say to working in the Las Vegas area is that we have a very dry climate. When you make different things like nougats and marshmallow, high humidity can be detrimental to producing those. And so, it does get to be pretty warm here, but I think, we're able to manage that with our air handling. And luckily we have an airport just a few miles away for our overnight deliveries. We can get those shipped out without melting. So
it actually sounds like there's advantages of being here too.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I have a couple friends that work in chocolate as well, different parts of the country, and they're always, we're in our group chat talking to each other about what we're working on, and they're always complaining about the humidity, and I'm always, really thankful that we have. Well, not today because today is kind of rainy, but most days are dry. So. Oh
my God! If only I could see what goes on in the chocolate group chat.
Top secret.
Top secret chocolate group chat.
The Love Affair event is on at Whole Foods Market with deals on delicious desires through February 14th. The floral department's in full bloom, so look for savings on double dozen bunches of roses. In the meat and seafood departments, save on animal welfare certified New York strip steaks and sustainable wild-caught lobster tails to make the night sizzle. Gifts from the wellness and beauty department are always a nice touch. And you have to grab those chocolate-dipped strawberries. Make Whole Foods Market your Valentine's Day destination.
So what is special about your/Ethel M's chocolate making process?
Yeah, so so when Forrest moved out here, his original recipes were actually inspired by his mother. So his mother was actually Ethel, and her recipes that she created in her home kitchen up in Tacoma, Washington. He created those recipes really, all about fresh ingredients, really short shelf life. We don't take any shortcuts in creating our pieces. The majority of the pieces that you'll find in our retail stores have a less than 90-day shelf life. And that's because we're using, whole milk, cream, butter. We're not using any artificial preservatives in our pieces. Being, a small company, but yet under a larger company, we have the advantage of the Mars supply chain. So we actually do produce our chocolate from bean to bar. Mars comes in, we're sourcing the cocoa beans, we're roasting those beans, developing all that delicious flavor. In turn, then we have special recipes that are used exclusively for Ethel M Chocolates that are created for us. And then we use those in-house to create our different chocolate pieces.
Can you define what bean to bar is for our listeners that might not know?
Sure. So when you're saying bean to bar, I think, it means that you're kind of controlling the chocolate every step of the way. So, a lot of smaller chocolate companies, premium chocolate companies, typically will be purchasing their chocolate from a commercial chocolate manufacturer. And so you're not really in control of your raw material, or you may be to a certain point. But when you're bean to bar, you're really kind of controlling and you're responsible for the piece or the cocoa every step of the way. And you're able to control the quality of the cocoa. So, we talk about this in our chocolate tastings, our chocolate tasting experiences that we offer at the store here. But, we show, how we look at the actual individual cocoa bean. We actually slice it in half. We look at the inside to ensure that bean is properly roasted, properly fermented, because it takes a lot of work to transform that into the delicious chocolate that you taste with Ethel M.
Out of curiosity, where do you source your chocolate from?
So we source actually from all over. There are different regions. So cocoa typically only grows about 20 degrees north and south of the equator. It takes a real pretty tropical environment, warmer, humid environment in which to thrive. So there's a belt, around the equator where you will find a lot of cocoa growing regions. And so you may have seen in the past, single origin chocolates, let's say, right? So those would be chocolates made from one specific, origin, could be country, could be a state. Those have very specific characteristics, kind of like, different wines or grapes that are grown in different parts of the world will have different characteristics, even though those grapes may be the same. So for us, we are crafting together different cocoa beans from different regions to deliver, the different flavor notes, the nuances, the fruity and floral characteristics that will give us the finished chocolate that, or the flavor profile that we're looking for, that pair best with our centers. The majority of the pieces that we offer are filled pieces. So we do have some solid chocolate offerings, but most of our pieces have fillings or are topped with different ingredients.
The chocolate is the container for more goodness inside.
Yes, absolutely. If you come visit us at our retail store, we have a glass window or a plexiglass window right into the factory, and you can see all those delicious centers being made right there.
That's so cool. I know that your focus is really in sort of research and development of what's next. So what is that process like for you? What's bean to bar for the chocolate, but what is it for you?
That's I think the most fun part of my job. I get to have brainstorming sessions with we just hired a new product development scientist that I'm really excited about.
Oh, cool.
Her name is Natalie. So Natalie and I will sit in a conference room and kind of brainstorm what are the trending flavor profiles that are in the world right now. What are the different spice blends that are popular? What is Europe doing with chocolate? What is like the Middle East doing with chocolate? What's Asia doing with chocolate right now?
Wow.
What are the top restaurants in the world doing with chocolate? Looking at all these ideas and really kind of coming up with our own combinations of things that we think, might taste good.
Yeah.
It's a really fun process. We get to make a lot of different samples and try things. Sometimes they don't always work out as well as you would hope, but it's in the end it's not really that bad because anything with chocolate is pretty good.
Okay. Do you remember any particularly bad combinations that you thought they were going to be good, but then in practice?
So I do. Many years ago, I had a really interesting idea to actually put together wine grapes and chocolate, thinking originally, it would be a really interesting combination.
Funky,
kind of like an elevated,
sweet.
Yeah, like an elevated raisin experience. And when,
Sorry.
or
I'm sorry, that really made me laugh.
Sorry, elevated chocolate covered raisin.
Yeah. An elevated raisin experience. I'm with you.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. It's
funny. Don't apologize. Please go on.
But and so it was interesting, me in my own head thinking like, wow, this is really cool, right? There's this, kind of health halo with going on with Cabernet, wine grapes, Chardonnay, Merlot, right? So that with chocolate could be a really interesting and unique product.
Definitely.
So it turns out that wine grapes have little seeds inside of them. And when you chocolate coat those, it's a very different experience than what most folks might be expecting. And let's just say it didn't work out as well with our consumers as we had expected it to.
You don't know until you try, right?
Exactly. And honestly, I mean, one of the great things about our business, we have our small test kitchen. Natalie and I will work on different projects, different products and things. And, we're able to really quickly turn around an idea, walk into our chocolate factory, maybe 20, 30 feet away and produce something that we can have on the shelf, pretty quickly and get our consumers, reaction and they can, give us their feedback, pretty quickly after our initial prototype is created.
So on any given day, someone might walk in and have the chance to try like a new prototype of some elevated raisin experience that you've come up with.
Yeah, wouldn't be that exactly, but yeah, we're working on a number of different things right now. Just a few months ago, we launched our refreshed creme liqueurs. And so those were kind of a new and improved recipe refresh of our creme liqueur pieces. And right now we're working on a lot of different products and a new product type for the holiday season coming up here as well. So if you stop in, you might have an opportunity to try.
Wait, what's the new product for the holiday season? Hit us with it.
I can't disclose that
it's secret?
Right yet, but it is.
When will people be able to find out and try it?
So we will probably be doing some tastings, again, kind of like some informal focus groups where if you come in and have a chocolate tasting experience, we would have this piece as potentially like a bonus that you could try and give us your feedback on. So we're always getting feedback like that in our retail stores. So
you dodged the question. I am dying to know, and you're not going to tell me. Please keep us updated when it comes out. I want to know what is going to hit the shelves soon.
Actually, I will say probably in the next month or so, I think we'll definitely have some samples in our retail store here in Henderson that we'll be requesting feedback on. So,
ooh, exciting. Okay. Well, so Ethel M's has been around for a long time, since 81. Is that what you said?
Yes, 1981. Forrest, he actually lived above the chocolate factory, which is kind of crazy.
Oh.
So upstairs in the office, there are still, some of the remnants of, still some of the, his old condo or his old apartment that we've kind of kept intact over all these years. So that's kind of cool to think about, right? You've got the owner of the company
Yeah.
coming downstairs and into the chocolate factory to make sure that the products that are being produced are being made just perfectly into his
that
specification.
feels very like 1880s, not 1980s, to be like living above your store, but the best commute, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and this is your big holiday season. I imagine it starts around Christmas, and then of course we have Valentine's Day coming up, which has got to be, is that your busiest time of year?
Holidays definitely the busiest for us, followed quickly by Valentine's Day. Yes. So for me in product development, the holidays are so close together that, typically when I'm working on products for holiday, we'll also be working on the Valentine's Day products as well. So it's kind of one big holiday push.
And I guess I should ask to wrap up, what is your best-selling piece at Ethel M's?
So I should say, for many, many years, it has been our dark chocolate lemon satin cream. And that has been kind of the number one for quite some time. Now, that Bananas Foster piece that I mentioned earlier, I believe, if I have my stats correct, that may have unseated the lemon satin cream for a few weeks during the holiday season. And so, I would say that those two pieces right now are most popular. But the lemon satin cream is great because, it provides for this really different experience. You have this tart, sweet lemon center and then bittersweet dark chocolate shell. And in the very beginning, it's almost too tart, almost overpoweringly tart with lemon. But as that dark chocolate melts, it actually melts and kind of cuts that and overall kind of gives you this really nice, well-rounded dessert experience. So it's a fun thing to taste that piece and close your eyes and just kind of let the flavors meld together.
That's so beautiful, Mark. Thank you for being with us today.
Absolutely. Happy to do it.
That's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. If you enjoyed the show, send a friend this episode and then go check out Ethel M. They've got a 3-acre cactus garden as well as views of the chocolate being enrobed. And don't forget to subscribe to our morning newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Take care.
So what says chief product development? It says product development manager, but that doesn't sound very sexy. I think chief chocolatier is fine.
Chief chocolatier. Okay, we'll go with that.
Sounds very, yeah.